Hi, we're going to talk about some TPI golf movement and mobility drills. A lot of times the smallest areas can cause the biggest problems in your golf swing. This is not to fix golf, it's to help you move better, move freer, and unleash all your performance. We're going to use a golf club, which is what your primary tool is going to be. We're going to use a wooden dowel, also a weighted bar. The first drill we're going to work with is wrist rotation. So this way, hold the bar in front of you, relax knees, extend the elbows a little bit, shoulder blades in, and we're going to rotate. We're going to work the flexors and extensors. Try to think like a tick-tock. Rotate 10 times to each side. We're not looking for torque and catch. If at any point the head of the golf club feels a little heavy, you can choke up and modify. So obviously this is a much smaller movement, but depending on your strength and restriction, you can modify. Also, what we're not looking to do is kind of catch and flop and catch and flop. Tick-tock. You want to control. This would be the best way to warm up. You can bring your elbows into your body. You can hold for a second once you feel good. It's a real good active stretch. So anytime you feel stiffness in your wrists, a little bit in the elbows, and with the elbows in, I can control a lot better. So the second drill we're going to work is down through the ankles. Your ankles are stiff, you're going to have early extension. It's a TPI foundation tip. So we want to be able to maintain a flat base the whole time. That's where your power comes from, ground contact. So the biggest key is, at any point, if my feet are together, golf club straight, push up on the ball of the toe, rock back on the heel, push up on the ball of the toe, rock back on the heel. Focus on rolling up, rocking back. Want to activate the calf, stretch the big toe. Initiate on the way up. It's a little bit of a pop. We're reaching up. This will loosen up things that you are not pretty aware of to begin with. And again, once you get the ankles loose, which is a mobile joint, it will enable the foot to stay flat, which is a stability joint. You'll be able to hinge better into your setup, and you'll be a lot better from the ground up. So those first two things loosen up small areas, which have a big rebar effect into bigger areas. The next drill we're going to work on is adding two things together. So I can hold the bar close to my sternum, keep it in the center of my body into a modified squat stance. As I start a squat, I want to extend the bar out. Sit down, pull back in. Sit down, pull back in. The goal is to just squat behind the bar, full extension of the elbow, come back up. Now look for a full fitness squat, a full range of motion. Just partial, 6 to 8, 10 inches. So you can see from the side, relax. Squat through the bar, come back in. So again, the head of the club adds a little bit of dynamic variability, so it enables you to get some feedback, some articulation, forces you to use some stability factors. So here we're extending as we sit back. So we're getting two activities at once. The other thing that this helps us also obviously do is start to loosen up the hips and knees. Again, if you need to, you can always choke up, keep that centered. If you have a broomstick, PVC, or if you're fortunate enough to have a light bar, this is only 4 pounds. Again, this is not meant to be full-blown strength conditioning. It's to give you the opportunity to work on small things, loosen up mobility, build up a little resiliency in the connective tissue so your golf game is improved. So this would be a little more fitness-based. Again, I'm choking up, not squeezing, holding on. Extend and sit, pull back in. Extend and sit, pull back in. I would recommend sets of 10. It's a good way to keep yourself consistent, know whether it's easy or hard, whether to go up or down. Usually 2 or 3 rounds is fine. If you're warming up before golf, 1 round of 3, 4, 5 exercises, which once we get through the full video, we'll have a full spectrum of things. Also address your areas of need. So as we go along, if you realize your ankles, calves, or even your feet are stiff and tight, your big toes specifically, if you're lacking mobility and flexibility in those areas, work on those drills first. Bigger stuff will loosen up or unravel as we go along. Another way the golf club can be very beneficial is bringing the bar overhead. Just letting it hang behind you. And again, work in a tick-tock fashion. I like to use my wrists. I can feel it better on my shoulders. This will loosen you up right behind. Stand up nice and tall. So you can see from behind, I'm trying to use my wrists just to tick-tock the golf club outside my hips. Loose and calibrate. 1, 2, 1, 2. When you're ready, bring it over. That will start to really open up your anterior core, set your posture. So again, when you get into your setup, you're going to be a lot more mobile. Stability helps you to stay in position. That foot, we get that ankle nice and loose so the foot can stay grounded. Here, we got the grip nice and loose now. Now I can get my thoracic or T-spine nice and stable so I'm not in that C or S posture, hunched or lordotic, too much arch. So you need to address small things to stabilize big things. So again, the tick-tock is really good with the head behind, come over the shoulder, relax the wrist, and just literally slowly sway side to side. And again, you'll feel this mostly in your shoulder blades, but it's a great way to loosen up the black hole, the rhomboids, lower trapezius, a little bit of rotator cuff. When you're done, pull back over the shoulder. So we've now gone from wrist, ankle, into the back of these shoulders. So now we're going to get into knees a little bit. I like to grab the club as wide as I can. Good overhand stance. This is what I term a peekaboo squat. We're trying to get under the bar. Just underneath, stand back up. Just underneath, stand back up. Not an overhead squat, peekaboo. Just underneath, come back up. A little wider than everything, relax, hold the bar, come under, peekaboo, come under, peekaboo, come under, peekaboo. You'll start to reveal where you need the most work. You will find your shoulders may still be tight. You may find your hips are tight. You may find your knees are stiff. Primarily your hamstrings will cause that. If you have knee issues or anything, that's another time, another place. Make sure you're warming up. It's the whole emphasis of TPI mobility, movement-based drills are for. So this is a great way to bring connective movements together and keep advancing. That way we move along. That can be done with a bar, which will add a lot more fitness-based stuff. And you can go a little wider. So here again, as wide as you can, comfortably, centered. As you raise, get underneath, stand up nice and tall. Get underneath, stand up nice and tall. Again, from the side, usually right outside the hips, minimum grip-wise. We don't want to be too close. If you can hold the bar all the way out, usually the wider means you have better scapular control and mobility. So I'm pretty close to the width. If you find yourself really sticking your chin out, a little bit is fine. Good movement is better than excessive or forced movement. So keep that in mind. So now we've gotten to shoulder girdle, getting into the knees a little bit. Now we need to get into the torso, the hips, the middle of your thorax, your anterior core, so we can start to now unleash power. This is one movement a lot of my clients and the golfers here at the Vineyards have benefited from. Keep this right next to your rib box. 90-degree angle, tuck the elbow in, foot back. We're following the bar. We're going to open, square the hip. open, square the hip. You're not swinging open, and you're not trying to extend the bar. You're using the bar as a rotational axis. Done correctly, you will feel your oblique, a little bit of some glute hip, but now you're starting to work rotation, which is basically every part of golf performance, especially your swing and your long game. On the other side, same thing. Elbow in, you can hold on underhand, pointer finger, just keep this 90 degrees. Want to maintain that perpendicular angle, rotate, come back. I'm tighter on my left, I can feel it in my glute. My obliques just starting to loosen up now. From the front, so when I'm square, the key is to follow the bar. Come out as far as I can, square back up. So on my hips, to square up in the center, rotate back. It's going to be done with a golf club as well, which I'll show you shortly. But the bar, because it's longer, really has a way of helping you open up. Follow the bar with your eyes so you can see where you're going. Good. So this now starts to work on that transverse plane rotation, which will help you again loosen up in areas where you start to connect from the ground up or the swing down. Just depends on where and what we're working on. But this is that middle area now, that torso, thorax, which is going to make a big difference. With the golf club, with shorter, keep the club head just part of your rib box. Usually right inside the elbow so you can hold it. So you're right there. You can do this 5-10 times each way, and you will find you start to loosen up in areas you were not aware of that needed to be loosened up. Square, keep that part of your body. Same thing. Follow the grip as I rotate. And that's a great way to work there. Another good one I like to do to now bring the whole torso together with the rotator cuff, back swing, follow through an extension, turn to the side, up and over, turn at the top, up and over, turn at the top. So now I'm really working on keeping my hips square, trying to turn my torso. The axilla, which would be the middle of your rib cage on your side, is your turning point. Really try to turn right through, middle of your lat. Good, flip that over. Same thing, start square to the hip. This is also what we term a multi-planar or multi-movement. I am raising in a frontal, rotating in a transverse. Those are two movement planes. That's going to initiate and enable you to warm up, loosen up, but also start to work on biomechanics, connecting, segmenting the torso. One of the most important factors, obviously, is hamstring, low back strength. We all hip hinge to get into setup. We use a golf club for a modified Romanian deadlift, or straight leg deadlift, depending on our flexibility. So now I'm going to show you a little bit different. We need to loosen up the hip and the hamstring, right over left, straight bar, stand straight up, stand straight up, push through that back hip, maintain a flat back. This will get into your hamstrings. Movement, gentle, don't force range of motion. Wrap around, straight arm, straight down, stand up. Almost a piking position, maintain a flat back as best you can. We're not trying to hunch and reach. This is not good movement. Keep the bar close to you. So in this stretch position, all that stretch would be hip, medial glute, little IT band, hamstring. So we're connecting now. Now you're loose. Now you have an opportunity to swing freely, prevent injury, and also work from there. Here's a combination of drills that address some black hole areas, I like to call them. Those spots we're not so familiar with, what to do, how to get into them. Multi-movement, multi-planar, small things lead to big releases, making sure we have good mobility so we can create stability, good stability so we can create good mobility. They work hand in hand. Give those drills a try, sets of 10. These should be done in very steady movement patterns. It's not a workout, it's a warm-up. So it's good before activity, golf, tennis, any recreational sport, even going for a walk. Also, I would highly recommend incorporating them as part of your fitness regimen once you're able to. A dowel is fine, a broom handle, a golf club, or a small weighted bar. 2, 3, 4, 5 pounds is the maximum I recommend. A lot of reps will build up a lot of endurance and you'll feel those small muscles working. Thank you.